Hey everybody, I'm Chris, and this is TUVlog 11. Now, that's quite a gap between TUVlog 10. I actually had to go back and look to figure out which one I was even on, because the last vlog that I did was all the way back at the end of June. So the question that I'm sure everybody's wondering is, where the heck have I been? Where did I go? So if you've been following my channel for a while, you probably noticed that for pretty much the entire month of July, I was completely MIA. I was nowhere to be found. And I couldn't really explain why that was or where I was because of the circumstances surrounding it. First off, let me point out, keeping it classy today with the audio on the t-shirt. It's work around the house day, so you know, I had to cut the grass and bought a bunch of stuff for the wood floors, because I'm finally gonna get to that, but I'm sidetracking. So anyway, where did I go? All right, so the company I work for went through a merger acquisition situation. So we merged with another company. And right around the end of June, I actually got contacted by the CEO of my company, and he said, basically, clear your schedule. You're gonna be one of the few people that are in the loop on this, and we had a whole code name for it and everything. And essentially what that meant was I was busy all the time. So I had to help manage that with the company that we merged with, and they have offices on the East Coast and offices on the West Coast. And we had a lot of stuff we had to get done in a really short amount of time. From a branding standpoint, like the internal communication with the employees, and it was all very confidential, and you know, we were a private company, and the company we merged with was a public company, which meant that there was, you know, shareholders involved, and everything had to be kept really tight. So I couldn't say anything about what I was doing on my channel or where I was really. I just kind of had to disappear and focus on work, because none of this is possible if I don't have a job. So that had to take priority for a little while. And it was a stressful experience and a very unique experience, and it's something that I'm happy to have on my resume as something that I've done now. And lots of things learned, lots of lessons learned, and from a professional standpoint, while it was challenging and definitely stressful, I'm glad I got through it, and I'm glad that it went well. So it's good to be back though, because during that time I was working off of my work laptop, because I had actually disassembled the H440 and kind of turned that into like a test bed kind of thing. And I did that right around, I think, July 4th-ish. So the computer was completely disassembled. The graphics card wasn't in it, and the motherboard had been pulled, and everything was just, you know, all the parts were in different places. The hard drives weren't in it anymore. Everything was set up for me to do the Air 540 build. And basically the week that I was going to do that is when I kind of got pulled away from the channel, and I did squeeze one video in there for the Node 804 review, because I felt bad because Fractal sent me that case like a month before, and I didn't have a chance to get to it. And actually, I owe Noctua 2 videos. They sent me their PPC and Redux fans, and then they also sent a low profile CPU cooler, which is actually perfect for my home theater PC. So I need to get those done. You can actually see I've got the video editing behind me for the fans. And I did 2 versions of that video. So the actual final product may be a little bit weird, because I did one like maybe a week ago. And then, you know, I got done with it and I thought, you know, I feel like I kind of half-assed this thing. I really, you know, in all honesty, it just, I showed the fans and I gave the specs. But once I got into doing the Enthro Pro build, which, there it is back there. I'm loving this build, by the way. This is my favorite case so far that I've built in. But once I got near the end of that build and I was getting ready to start deciding which fans to use, I thought, why not just take a break right here, bust out some of those Redux PPC fans, plug them into the fan hub, see how they sound and how much air they actually move. So instead of ending the video like I did, I actually changed things up a little bit. Uh-oh, getting emails. So I changed things up a little bit, and I ended up, you know, actually doing kind of a you know, practical application of the fans, and holding it up to my face and seeing how much air they were moving. So I felt that was a little bit better. I didn't want to short Noctua on that video, so even though it's taken me a while to get to it, hopefully it'll be as informative as I could make it. And that was kind of the idea. So if anybody from Noctua, if you're watching, the video's coming tomorrow. If you're watching this tonight when I post it, YouTube time is weird. Sometimes you feel like you're time traveling. But anyway, so that's the long and short of it, but it's good to be back to doing computer stuff, because I was using my work laptop. It's a little 14-inch screen. Didn't have my gaming machine, haven't done any gaming or anything in like a month and a half, and I wasn't able to do anything technology related, because I'm a communications manager, and that's pretty much all I was doing, was press releases and internal announcements and lots of different languages and branding stuff, and things that I had to do on how we were gonna brand this transition and doing all that. So I was actually doing what my degree is in, but I wasn't doing what I really love to do as my hobby. And I really missed it. And there were a couple moments during the Intro Pro build where I had to like pause for a minute. I'm like, okay, I do remember how to build a computer, right? It's thundering outside. It's incredibly humid today. It's like walking into a swimming pool when you go outside, and I had to cut the grass. I think I might be sweating. I'm trying to see on my screen if I'm getting grease face. But yeah, so that went down. Still have all the components ready for the Intel versus AMD build. So I realized I was getting behind because I had a 4790K just sitting there. Then I had the 20th anniversary Intel Pentium chip, the Athon X4, like 760 or whatever it is, 760K maybe, sitting there. And then I also got like some really low-end G-series Pentium because I'm going to do a rebuild of the NAS box, because many of you, and rightfully so, kind of jumped my case about not using ECC memory. And I did my research, and you're all correct. It's not a good idea. So I ended up getting a board that will support ECC, and then did my research and found that some of the Pentium and Core i3 series chips, if you go on the Intel website, support ECC memory. So for what I'm using it for, the low-end Pentium chip is just fine. So I'm going to redo the NAS box build with that chip, so that Core i3 will get pulled and used for something else. But if you're going to do it right. So that's coming up as well. X99 is getting close. Lots of rumors and actual hardware starting to pop up now. I think a couple of motherboards have come on the scene now with some specs that have leaked out. And of course the 880 GTX drama, if you will. That's firing up, and it's kind of funny because that chip's probably just around the corner, and I just put a 780 Ti in my system, but I really don't care. The 780 Ti is more than enough for me. I went with the reference design on that card. A few people were wondering why I did that. I had the 780 classified with the ACX cooler on it, and that had a custom PCB and everything. And the downside to that is you couldn't add any kind of liquid cooling to it. There just wasn't kits available at all. So like the Kraken wasn't out there, and I think Corsair makes one now. And then obviously if you do a custom water loop, there's various blocks available that you can get, but it's a lot easier if you just use a reference card. So that's why I went reference, and you know what? It's not that much louder than the ACX one was. As a matter of fact, unless I'm doing something pretty intensive on the computer, I can't hear it. It's silent. As a matter of fact, this whole computer is silent. That 140 millimeter Redux fan in the back, you can't hear that at all. The two 140 millimeter NF-A14s on top kick off a little bit of noise if I don't have the computer set to the silent profile, because I have the same problem that I had in the H440, is that they're just so sensitive on the PWM that they like to wind up and slow down a lot. And I believe actually in the ASUS Fan Expert software, you can set the threshold for how often those things are allowed to rev, which cuts down on the like wow wow noise that you get all the time. But I've found kind of a sweet spot right now. And the 200 millimeter fan in the front of the case I just have turned off unless the computer gets to like a certain, I think like 70 degrees or something, that it never hits. So then that kicks on, or the processor gets to 70 degrees, I mean. So that one's just kind of chilling. Looks good, just not spinning. But I'll probably switch it out, maybe, I don't know. The computer's not getting even remotely hot. It got mad at me. Come back, computer. But the computer's not even getting remotely hot. When I edited the video for the build itself, I didn't have any problems, which was pretty funny because I had to, that night when I did the build, then I had to hurry up and put Windows on the machine and then start the Adobe Suite download so I could come home the next day on Friday and start editing. And then I got tied up on Fridays and I had to edit Saturday. So it was like, I recorded the video for the machine that was going to edit the video that I just recorded. So it's I was kind of hoping things went well with that, because if they wouldn't have, I would have been hosed. So like I said, the wood floors are finally coming along. That got put on hold as well. So I went out today and bought all kinds of really boring stuff. Got the underlayment down, a couple of rolls of that, and the quarter round trim that I need, and some concrete fill for when I have to pull the nails out for the tack strips since I'm on a slab. So yeah, all kinds of exciting stuff there, and cut the grass. I'm just like catching back up into life again. It's kind of been weird. Like it's like I went on vacation, but I was at home. So I'm having to like get back into the groove of things, and it's getting weird. I'm kind of used to being in this echoey kitchen area now with my computer setup, because my couch is just right there. So it's kind of nice if I get a message or something. and I got Netflix up on my PS3. I can just come over here and start doing what I gotta do, and then I'll have to walk all the way to the front of the house now after I get the office done. But it's gonna look really nice, and it's gonna be nice to have an actual desk. You'll probably notice I've got my old clipped speakers back up here again because those big Audio Engine A5s, those are huge, and they would not fit on this desk in a million years. And I'm down to just one monitor right now as well, and that stinks. But that said, just glad to be back. And thanks so much to everybody for sticking around. I was surprised to come back to the channel and see I'd gained another 1,000 subscribers. You guys are all awesome. And you know, people were reaching out to me and saying, are you okay? Because right before the merger went down, if you remember, if you watched the update video, I had lost my voice. And it's a damn good thing that happened when it did, because had it happened a couple weeks later, I would have been in trouble. So I had that happen. I had, you know, the health issues, and then being busy at work. It was just a perfect storm for the channel. But thanks so much to everybody for checking in and making sure I was all right. A couple people were like, are you still live? Are you still doing the channel? Yes, still very much here. So look for the Noctua video soon. It may already be up by the time you watch this. So gonna get back to doing that and answering a bunch of questions on Facebook and email. So that's awesome. And in all seriousness, that really is the best way to get a hold of me. So of course, Twitter, you can follow me there. Tech Uploaded. Facebook, their link system is crazy, so I'm not gonna link it, but if you just search for Tech Uploaded on Facebook, you should find me there. And then if you wanna send me an email, go ahead and do that at techuploaded@gmail.com. Those are your more likely ways to grab my attention, because as I've said before a couple of times now, oh, the YouTube comment system, it's good if you leave a new comment. Where it breaks and falls apart is if you reply to a comment that's already been made, because then it sometimes, if I just go into like my comments window, like I can pull up comments, it'll be blurry, but I've got a tab set up, a bookmark, and this will pull up all the recent comments. But a lot of times if it's a reply to something, then it doesn't come up in here, and it comes up in this list, which is nice. You can click on it and everything shows up, and it'll show the new messages. But as soon as I click off of it, then it wipes it out. So it said I had 8, now I have none, and they all go to like that darker gray color. So then I lose track of where I was. It's a whole ordeal. So it's just easier if you if you go the other way. If you really need to get a hold of me, that's a better way to do it. So I'm gonna leave it there so I can get back to it and finish out my Sunday evening here. As always, if you enjoyed this video or any of my videos, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And I already gave you the link to Twitter, so I'm not gonna do that again. And thank you for not being a stranger. I always ask you not to, and you stuck by me through this one. So I'm gonna say it again, don't be a stranger. Check back soon.